everybody, welcome back. I'm going to get started on a pretty fun project. It's for the Shovelhead chopper we're building. So what I decided to do is ditch the regular nose cone, which takes an electronic ignition or points in it, and we picked up this magneto style nose cone. I'm not a big fan of magnetos. They look cool and all, but it's still like super old technology. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to machine first the drive shaft and then make our own distributor, which will house a Dyna S electronic ignition. And it's probably going to be a stupid amount of work and no one in the world will really ever notice it but me, but I don't know, it's just something I wanted to do. Should be a really cool accent piece next to our Carl Speed Shop Typhoon carburetor. And so that's it. So we're going to get cranking on that. Going to be a lot of hours at this lathe, but it's really what I enjoy doing, so should be pretty fun. So this nose cone is designed to use a like flathead 45 or early Sportster style magneto. So I have a 45 distributor base here that I'm just using for my dimensions. This doesn't fit exactly. It's a little bit too large a diameter here and a little bit too short. So, but the actual mounting surface to the tip of the drive gear shaft is accurate for this cover. So I'm going to use this to start my dimensions. We're going to make the outside housing first, then we'll have to make the inside shaft, some bronze bushings, and we'll install this gear on. And then once we get that made, we'll make the distributor base, which will hold our centrifugal advance weights and our Dyna S and all that stuff. But that's going to take a little while to get to that area. So first thing we're going to do, we got a piece of 60-61 1.25 inch material chucked up in the lathe. We're going to go ahead and face it off and then start, we'll get our length laid out and start turning down our dimensions. So we got our two dimensions cut here. I'm going to go ahead and slide it in our cover, allow us to get a distance so we can mark it and cut the piece off to the approximate length we want. Then we'll pop it back in the lathe here
and face that off.
Alright, so we got our piece sawed off in the bandsaw. I'm going to go ahead and chuck it in here, get it faced off. Alright, so we're going to have to put a 5/16 shaft through this, which is what's this gear will go on, and what'll mount it, or turn the advancer unit. So I went ahead and drilled a clearance hole, and I'm going to go check and see what kind of bushings are available that'll fit in here with a 5/16 ID and see what the OD is. I won't do the finish machining. There'll be a bushing on each end to hold the shaft, top and bottom. I won't do any finish machining on this until I get the bushings, just so I can measure them. There's always tolerances and stuff in manufacturing, so. But you can buy the bushings for a couple of bucks. So to sit here for whatever time it would take, a half hour or 45 minutes and machine bushings, just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Alright, so we got our two pieces, and gonna head into the press and turn them into one piece. Alright, so there we go. Nice, super tight press fit. I'm gonna come in here and face this off again just to even it up, and then face off the front to even that up. this to focus. Anyway, here we have the beginning of our distributor drive housing. So I'm gonna go order some bushings, and then we need a big chunk. I thought I had some, but probably like a 4-inch chunk of aluminum, which will be the actual points plate base, and we'll make the cover. It's not going to be points, it's going to be electronic ignition, but it's basically set up the same way. And then hopefully by the time we get that material, we will also have the Dyna S and the mechanical advancer, and we'll be able to continue on with this process. So that's going to do it for today. And I think I'm going to try and keep this all in one video so you can see it start to finish. So anyway, that's the end of today. We'll be back for day 2 as soon as we get some additional parts and material.
All right, guys, just a quick interruption in the video here. I want to tell you about how to enter to win. As I said in a couple previous videos, we're going to pop this information in the middle of all of our videos here and there, just to let people know how to enter, and it'll get people to watch the videos, as you got to watch and find where the information is. So it's going to be real simple. You don't have to buy anything, doesn't cost you anything. You just need to send an email. I'm going to try to get the email on the screen here. I'm not a super tech whiz, so we'll see how that goes, but the email address is pretty straightforward. It's gaddysgaragegiveaway@gmail.com. So all you have to do, send one email. In the email, subject line, giveaway, and in the body of the email, your name, address, telephone number. That's it. You don't actually even need to give your whole address if you don't want. Just let's scratch the address. Let's give your name, your city and state, and a contact phone number. We're not going to sell the phone numbers. No one will ever have them but me. So don't worry about that. You're not going to get sales calls. I hate sales calls as much as everybody else. But we do need a way to get a hold of you if you win. So, again, name, city and state, telephone number. You do need to be a subscriber to the channel to win also. So if you're seeing this and you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button and then send the information on over. So we look forward to everybody entering, and we're really excited to give away this bike. Now back to the video.
All right, we're back on day 2. We got our Oilite bronze bushings, and I don't have very much time today, but I wanted to try and get these fit into the body here, so went ahead and drilled them out to a close dimension. Now I got to find a small head boring bar, and we'll go ahead and bore these out to get a press fit.
got both of our counter bores done. I'm gonna go into the press and press these bushings in, and we will be back. All right, so we got our bushings pressed in. Both of those are looking good. Next thing we gotta do is machine the shaft. So we need something that is gonna be the full length of this, plus a top protrusion, which I'm gonna machine to mimic the end of the Shovelhead camshaft. That way or not the Shovelhead camshaft, rather the Ironhead Sportster camshaft, because we're using an advancer from an Ironhead Sportster. So by mimicking the end of the cam like that, we will have somewhere for the advancer unit to bolt right up without issue. So I'm gonna make it out of some stainless steel round stock I have. I'm gonna go ahead and measure it up. The distance we need to cut, we're gonna have to machine it down to 5/16, and then we'll cut it off to length once we get the part we need turned down to the 5/16. So it looks like we need 3-inch 932. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just turn it down a 4-inch section. We can always trim it off when we're done, the little extra that'll hang out the bottom, but it makes more sense to me to do it that way than to try and cut it exact if we're off, 25 thousandths. Once it all goes together, it's hard to put it back on. It's a lot easier to take off a little extra. That's gonna do it for today. I didn't have much time, but we got our bushings in, which is cool. We got our shaft in the lathe all set up and ready to finish cut. Just made a couple first cleanup passes, and I'm gonna try and get in here maybe early in the morning tomorrow and get this turned down before I gotta start my regular work day. So we will be back.
Just something I want to mention real quick. When you're machining for a real exact tolerance, it's always good to stop when you get close. We're about 100 thousandths away from where we want to be. I'm going to let this part cool down and normalize. You know, when it's hot, it'll expand sometimes 2-3 thousandths of an inch. So if you nail your dimension, then it cools off, you'll have a little bit too much slop in it. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cool off. It's time to get to work. Popped in here a little early this morning. We're day 3 on this distributor project. So we're going to get to work, and hopefully if we have some time after work, we'll maybe finish up this shaft.
So we let our part fully cool down, and we were going to go ahead and get the final 100 thousandths or so cut off and get this fit into our bronze bushings we installed last night in the distributor housing.
All right, one step closer. We got our gear, we got our distributor base, and now we got part of our shaft. Which just got to get lined up just perfect. There we go. So our gear will go on here. We'll get this drilled and roll pinned, trim this little extra part of the shaft off the bottom, and next thing we're going to go ahead and do is cut the excess material off and machine this top side to match our cam so that the advancer will fit on there. Alright, so we're back on the distributor again. I think day 4. We got our advancer unit in, so we're going to go ahead and finish up machining our shaft. We have to face this down a little bit and then turn down the nose on it and then drill it and tap it. So we'll get all this done, and then hopefully we're going to have some time to make the main body, which will hold the Dyna-S plate, and then the cap will go on there. So we're going to see what we can get done. Probably All right, so we got our shaft with our advancer. We still got to put a notch in the top where it'll indicate on the roll pin. But to continue on with the body, that's all we need for this for right now. And then we'll put this in the mill and put the notch in it when we get on the mill doing some work. So now that we've got this slipped into our body, we can get a measurement for how long a piece we want to start with for the main body. And I think we're going to go with, we'll start with a 3-inch piece. Then we'll end up obviously machining a bunch of it down. So I'm going to go get a piece of material cut, and then we'll come back and keep running this lathe. Alright, so we got our piece of 4-inch cut. We got to switch over to our wider jaws, because I don't think this are gonna. Yeah. So we need our wider jaws. Alright, so we got our bore done. We're going to go inside, press these two pieces together, and then we will come back and keep working. Alright, so we got our small shaft and our big housing pressed together. I'm going to throw this in the lathe and keep on working.
And he said it with a straight ass face.
After 2 seconds ago, he just comes over and bothers me while I'm working.
Straight ass face. What the hell?
You're doing something that you don't really gotta think. Oh, shit.
This?
Well, you got it lined up. You got it lined up. The sheets. Now you cut that out quick. It's almost empty.
I think I'm about, I don't know, quarter inch away.
That was a classic. You need to play poker, and you really start winning some money, you can get on across some shit like that.
A lot of guys that like that don't make money on top.
Yeah.
How to make gold.
Gold? Well, it's not that much, but well, I don't know. The fucker will be kind of heavy, right?
Well,
So what, this piece goes on top of this piece?
no, this, but I'm not.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How am I going to do this?
Yeah, I just did that.
Well, I thought it'd be better, but actually it's going to be better like this, and then I'll just have to flip it to do the back. So we got our base turned down. Just about finished dimensions. I'm going to take it over to the bike, drop it in, make sure it fits and clears the motor and everything. And then we'll be back. You done cutting? All right, well, there it is. I have to say I'm pretty happy with it. Definitely learned a couple of things. Not that I'll ever do this again, but if I do, a couple things I would do differently. But overall, once this thing is polished up, obviously we still need to make a top for it. But it is really going to be killer in this bike, I think. It's really something unique. I've never seen another one that I know of, so I'm sure somebody's made one because, as with anything, there is nothing new in this deal. So anyway, really pumped to have it in there. We still got to do all the final fitting. Got to drill and roll pin the drive gear, and got to drill and tap for the Dyna S plate to mount in, and then drill for the wire to come out. Still haven't quite figured out where I'm going to run that yet and make the cap, but this video is probably going to be incredibly long already. So if you've hung in here with us till the end, I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed seeing this crazy piece of, I'm going to call it motorcycle art, come to life. And that's it. I'm going to get out of here. As always, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Please don't forget to check out our giveaway bike videos. And next weekend, we're going to be at Dania Beach Vintage Motorcycle Show in Dania, Florida at Frost Park. If you're in our area and you make it out, definitely stop by. We're going to have a booth set up, a bunch of our custom bikes. We'll have t-shirts for sale. We're going to have the giveaway bike out there so you can get a look at it in person. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. And we hope to see you next time at Gaddy's Garage.